I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy.
Welcome
Had to
all, this
work
is the
hard,
Australian
struggle just to
Indie
be
Wrestling Show, fellow wrestlers, trainees, event support staff, friends, foes, and everyone in between. If you've got a topic, don't reach out to us this week. We've got a topic for you. We've also got Michael joining us from Australian Wrestling Community. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing fantastic, guys. I just came off listening to Celebrity Intervention, and I saw a surprise cameo from Jake the Snake. Did not have that on my Anzac long weekend, so no, I'm feeling good. It's been a good time.
Nice. And Don, how have you been, my friend?
It was good. It was a very, well, I want to say relaxing weekend, only because there wasn't any wrestling going on, but I did some renovations in my living room, so that took up a lot of my time, but it looks fantastic, and I can now try and watch some wrestling in a fancier setting. It's great.
Well, yeah. Michael, have you been ring announcing anywhere recently or in the near future? Any plans you can let us know about?
We've got our next main show May 23rd up in the Coburn Youth Centre. That will be our women's wrestling tournament. We've already announced so far that we're having Mercedes Martinez and Shayna Baszler coming back after a couple of years, so that's going to be fantastic. Got to name a few other of the entrants, so hopefully in the next couple of days we'll be dropping some more announcements and fighters soon.
My weekend, I was on my way to Adelaide, but then I changed my mind and went to OPW. It was a bit more local for me. It's just going to cost me money going to South Australia. It's money, to be honest, I didn't have at the moment. The fuel crisis is biting everywhere. I got to OPW, so I'll give you guys a quick couple of reviews on that. Well, I got there and they swapped the chairs around, the seating arrangements, so they're a bit different to what you had bought online. I'd been given an upgrade, which was in amongst the masses, and you can imagine how much I love that. So sort of said, oh, kind guys, that's where I bought my chair. I'd appreciate it if it was there. And yeah, they put me there. So I was sitting there by myself for about 10 minutes before other people cottoned on to what was happening and sort of semicircled themselves around me and that, and did that on both corners. So yeah, it was great to see the sort of public getting to sit where they wanted.
The scar section.
In the scar section, coming into the scar section. But I wasn't going to mention the OPW international bout until Mike sent me a picture of Parker Bordeaux saying, just basically saying it's being your champ plus $8,000. Now, is that $8,000 AU, $8,000 US, or is that US converted to AU, which is like US $5,748? What's going on there? Is that what he got paid, or is that what he,
Is that merch money?
Stealing everyone's lunch money. What's going on there?
Could have been the $8,000 for the price for the belt, which I have no idea. It looks like a WCW, just another WCW title, but
yeah, that's right. All I could think when I was sitting there watching the main event was, here's about $2,500 that could have been spent on the local scene instead. But I enjoyed the show overall, but I just thought if it's a showcase to showcase Australian wrestling, let's showcase Australian wrestling. And, I believe they did that. But yeah, Water Rapids, they retained their MCW titles. It was odd to see the MCW titles defended on an OPW show instead of the OPW titles that are owned by Blacklisted, Fox and JXT. So that was a bit odd for the MCW titles of the champion, but it was an OPW versus MCW, cross MCW shows, so I guess that's that.
OPW are kind of, sorry to interrupt you, they're kind of doing these collaborations so they can find their feet again with their own shows and figuring out the direction they're going to take. So, MCW have been very gracious to give them a hand so far.
Tell you what, the direction of showcasing young Australian upcoming talent that everyone wants to see is a great direction to go. And in that case, we had the tag title change between Eugenie and Billy Mack. Basically, Aisha and Melissa Avarello, they were calling themselves First Class Enterprises. They got the pin. Melissa Avarello, quite tall.
Yes, she came to Perth last time. I think she was at one of the super camps, or she at least was in the. No, she came. I think for Crown
For the
Jewel.
Super Show, wasn't she?
Yeah, the Crown Jewel
Yeah, yeah.
was here for all that as well. Seems like a lovely young lady. Yeah, and
Got a great reaction, and of course Aisha funny as always. Eugenie looking like a star, and like Billy Mack hamming it up. So yeah, good match. Jarvis versus Mitch Ryder. One of the matches I paid to see. One of the matches Dom was like, you have to go see this. Finally got to see Mitch Ryder and sold.
Yep.
Big fan now. Mitch Ryder can basically out wrestle anyone.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
So, yeah. People are holding him back in Queensland. Whoever's managing up in Queensland's holding him back. So we're got to get him more into the visual of the get seen. I reckon.
Yeah, he needs to get around more of the country, and I know he's done stints in Japan, but needs to get out of the country as well. Dude has talent in spades. Yeah.
And the OPW men's title was not the main event. The international title was big surprise. That was the match before the intermission. It was a good showing by Jesse Love and your mate Fantasia. You guys over in Perth. That was a great match. Just enjoyable. Just another great match from the fellas. So it was very entertaining. Neither good nor bad. It wasn't like anything excessively, like you see on some other cards with these ladder matches and stuff like that. And it didn't need it. It didn't need to be. It was just two dudes, peak athletics going for it. Jesse Love's a bit shorter than I expected him to be, but I guess the guys get that everywhere they go. Hey?
Well, yeah, when you're built like that, people expect you to be 7 foot tall.
But he's not a man. Does he not look like a fucking action hero or
he does.
Action figure? Yeah, yes. It looks amazing. So yeah, great package. I thought to myself, the show relied heavily on the Scotty Greens being to Survivor. I would have liked to see Scotty Green maybe paired up with Matt Hayter, I should say. And maybe Murdoch even given another match with someone, or maybe put into the scramble match, because it was just a vehicle for Scotty Green to get into the ballroom brawl. Like, isn't coming second in Survivor and having the machine of Channel 10 or what is it behind you enough to get you into the ballroom brawl these days? Without ruining the chances of other guys.
I mean, maybe if he was in Melbourne, then it would be automatic. But because he's from another state, he has to fight his way through. Maybe.
I don't know about that.
There's a limited time frame that he can coast on the Survivor. We're only like a couple weeks out, so yeah.
And he did only come second. Like, if you had a one, that's a different story, right?
Oh man, Well, I don't think it would be. Also, just relying on any one Survivor, and all these promos around. He's all over the shop.
Yeah, it brings eyes. He's on national television. For as much as everyone, I've seen people talk about getting wrestling on free-to-air national television is not a big thing. You get this guy who's been on a different show, and that brings that celebrity level over. So I think that's
I agree. Cash in on the Survivor thing, but not at the expense of other wrestlers. Like, the other guys were going harder, and I don't know whether he's still suffering the Survivor after effects or something. But yeah, it wasn't we never really thought much of Scotty Green as a wrestler. As a bit Jey Uso. But myself anyway, and it's just gone a bit downhill. Like, the other guys went so much harder, and I just would have liked to see some of the other fellas progress in that match into the ballroom brawl and get a chance. I mean, how many chances are we going to give Scotty Green, Matt Hayter,
Well, there could be other routes. There's another few weeks until another month or so till ballroom brawl.
That's it.
It's a scramble. You can't showcase everybody. You can't give everyone enough time in that little slot there. So
they were probably all working. They were probably all working overtime because they knew they weren't going over. They were all going man, I'm going to make sure everyone watches me and goes, he should have been in that match. So
If that's a thing, that's a thing, man. Yeah. Well, but yeah, I thought the main idea of Showcase was there to showcase up and coming talent. Get to regularly see, against talent you regularly see, which kind of, gives you sort of a level of what other people on.
Hmm.
Maybe it should be like an annual show they run. Mike, maybe you can reach out to the OPW fellas, and say, hey, maybe it could be annual, biannual, or the fucking norm. It was a pretty good show, and I would like to see more of the younger guys showcased. I think that's a good identity for OPW, to be honest.
Mm.
Biannual thing that sounds wonderful, I reckon. Like start of the like middle of the year, end of the year, like you'd find a lot more cream of the crop every time.
Mm. It's gauging reaction as well. That's what you want to do. You want to introduce a few new faces, gauge the reaction from the crowd, and then that'll tell you whether you're going to use them again or not. I imagine there'll be a few guys from there that'll be showcased more on OPW on the regular, but I think OPW, as much as you're sort of like, what's the point of doing the internationals when you need to showcase the Aussies? I think the OPW is trying to separate themselves from MCW by having that more international flavour with each show. Whereas MCW, for the most part, just uses Australian talent.
Yeah, the cream of the crop, the best of the best.
Top of
And
the wazza.
speaking of the top of the Wazza, we promised last time Michael was on that we'd get through our top personal feds. Next time he was on, we've limited it to 5 each. Raneem can't join us. He's somewhere on the Nullarbor with a ring. So, yeah, maybe we'll hear from him in a couple of weeks. But, yeah, Michael, let's start with you. Let's get on to your personal top 5 feds and let's hear why they're your 5 top feds.
So I'm cheating a bit. Five is a tie for me. I went with Top End Wrestling and TCW, like both for very similar reasons because they're both they're the only game in town in their respective areas, and it's a handful of guys that are keeping it alive by bringing other wrestlers from other states over, and it's just the evolution of keeping the scene fresh and the evolution of a growing company to gauge that interest and create a scene. Like you can see, like Top End is still starting out Tasmania, TCW, I think 2018, 2019, so they're still emerging there. But I love it just for the passion that you can see from them, and they've got bigger and better things for them each and every year. Before I had Riot City Wrestling, then I'll keep it briefer then. Because if it's interchangeable, like whether you talk about MCW, PWA, like all the top places of their respective states. For me, I always want to learn what the next thing is happening with the old guard, Ben Braxton, Red Shaw, Matt Hayter. Like I always find myself drawn to South Australia.
Mm-hmm.
3, I'd put Dude, the shows Michelle does, because similar to like a Russell Rock, Dude is just an experience of a show. Like there's a story, there's a continuation of all the matches, but every time someone rocks up there, it's just a vibe. It's just a great night out for everybody. Number 2 for me is Slam. So I mentioned Top End and Tassie, how like that's the start of a big boom for their area, and I think Slam is what happens when you see the culmination of that, and they're still growing. Like when you have the AIS stadium and bringing everyone over, and the reach they've had in such a short space of time should be religiously studied with how amazing they're doing.
Yeah.
And number 1, shock and horror, NHPW. I love the people that I work with in NH. So yeah, they had to be number 1 in my eyes.
Yeah, you're allowed to be biased. It's your list.
I am. I will cop to it 100%. Yeah.
These were the rules. It's your list. Yeah, you pick whoever you want. Go for it.
So mine are in no particular order. I just tried to think of the top 5 in general.
Always trying to get booked.
They look, man. I just want everyone to be. I just want to share the love. All right, spread the love. But anyway, so my top 5
is available for bookings.
Yes, always you can reach me at ddon Morleone. So I've got Slam on my list because I think they're probably out of everything in Australia, they're probably the closest thing to TV ready wrestling. They've just got everything so down pat, and their reach and growth, like you said as well, has been phenomenal. And And then I've also got MCW because the quality of wrestling that comes out of Melbourne, that's top tier. That's just MCW. There's other places in there that I enjoy watching when I can, but I feel like, again, they're just, the way they're set up, the way they produce shows, it's amazing. EPW, obviously, because it's the home fed and we have some of the best talent in the country, and we produce some really amazing shows, putting up some good numbers. I also chose Riot because it's strangely similar. I'm always drawn that way, whether it's just my algorithm or whatever. But you always see things from Riot pop up, and I know a few guys from there, and they're all good people. And then as a guilty pleasure, I've put BCW in there as one of my favorites, mainly because through working with those guys, I was able to meet Scott Steiner, Ken Shamrock, Johnny Nitro, Taya Valkyrie, and every time I've been there, it's been a pretty good crew in general. They've looked after me in the past, so props to the peeps behind BCW. That's my 5.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'll just get cracking straight into it. Of course, I'm going to go number 5, Peak, because I just like to party out there with the fellas and watch the young guys get into it and stuff like that,
Yep.
I also chose Dude in Perth for its nice party atmosphere. Michelle's created down there, having a drink in the beer garden, talking to some fellas I haven't seen for a while. It's always good fun. OPW seems to be a favourite of mine. I got to meet Bischoff. I just thought what was it? The Stampede, is it? What was the?
Stampede.
What was the? Yeah, that was just good fun across the weekend. So that was up in Ballarat. Of course, I've said Slam, of course, as well as the fellas have for their presentation, and it's great watch online. Find myself watching it all the time, and just hope to be there for the end of year show, to be honest. They're doing the big one. And of course, number 1, I go to MCW, I pay the big bucks, I go sit up the top, and it feels like it matters. Where PWA feels just like another show. It's in my top 10, maybe for presentation, but just not for the storylines, Wrestle Rampage, so they're, all around in the top 15, hey, so
yeah,
Newey Pro, But yeah, so we're here to celebrate our Aussies overseas. We just had WrestleMania weekend. Quite a few Australians have headed overseas, and we thought we'd just give it a top 25 tier list from Australian wrestlers currently out there in the world, 2026. We want to give a quick shout out to Ref Rach, who's currently getting around the USA. Ref Rach is well known around Australia, up and down the eastern seaboard coast. Of course, someone else who's well known up and down the eastern seaboard coast is Jimmy Townsend. He recently was in Team Beast. Maybe the Beast Mortis from AEW, Frank Mortis Attorney.
Attorney at Law.
Attorney at Law, that's right. Not to be outdone, but Adam Brooks will appear on TNA next week to represent Australia and bring the international championship back home. But that's not all Brooksy was up to over there. He was a guest trainer at NXT as well. So definitely getting around and meeting the right people is Brooksy at the moment. Pro Wrestling Red Zone tonight, the Ichiban and Sweet Boys, Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita became the 3-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions after Robbie Eagles tapped out Ishimori with a Ron Miller special. I hope I haven't fucked that up grammatically, but yeah. I struggle with the English language at best at times, let alone other people's languages. Hey, this is their 4th reign with the championship. But
cool.
Hey, just quickly, before we get into the top 25 Australian wrestler tier list, these WWE firings go around. Is that what we've got to look forward to from the recently contracted ACW talent?
Possibly. If they're looking for work in ACW. Australian Championship Wrestling, let's not be confused with Adelaide Championship Wrestling. 2 different places. One was around before the other. The ACW might be looking to give those guys some jobs, but let's see how they go with their visas.
Uber might be looking to give those guys a job in a year. Hey, let's go with the 25 Australian wrestlers in the world, the top 25 Australian wrestlers in the world. And we've got a bit over the number suggested, as we always do. But of course, we burnt some water off and we put in a few parameters for it to go through. Of course, it was global recognition, your footprint again, your global digital footprint, your casual and hardcore awareness, popularity, your cousin buzz, your fan engagement and momentum, how you're getting along, and your earnings, realistic industry tiers, realistic earnings from what we could find on the internet. We'd point the thing in the right direction and say, take a look at this, getting by on the social media and stuff like that, factoring in exposure from WWE, AEW, TNA Wrestling, New Japan, and all the indie circuits from around the world. Let's have a look and let's go through. Let's start at number 27, and maybe 27. A bit controversial one to start off at 27 with Tennille Dashwood. She recently said, "No, that's it for wrestling. I'm done." And looking on to go on to better things, hosting maybe TV shows and being that influencer sphere.
I hope she does well. She was sort of led the charge in the WWE. Was one of the first. I mean, obviously Nathan Jones is probably as far as you can go back. You can go back further and talk about the flying kangaroos and shit like that. But as far as Australians in the Fed, Tennille was like a trailblazer. So hopefully she finds some more stuff for herself.
So from one trailblazer to another trail deserter, we've got Zion Quinn, who's no longer in the WWE. He's living off his WWE name. He was released by his contract April 19th, 2024, ending a 6-year stint with the promotion. Following his departure, he made his debut in Total Nonstop Action Wrestling TNA in August 2024. Although appearing in TNA on TNA Explosion, he's not currently signed full-time to the TNA roster. Coming out at number 26, just outside the top 25, and only because she's managed to marry up, we've got Tatiana Dumas. Yes, that's right. The live-in lover of Simone Johnson has done well for herself, and good on her, to be honest. If you're going to marry up high in the world of pro wrestling.
So for the actual top 25 wrestlers who are still wrestling around the world, let's get into it. And we got 25, Gabriel Eros. And now, I haven't actually seen him wrestle lately, but he's just been bodybuilding. He's been on streams and in photos, getting around.
Yep. Hanging out with Buddy Murphy and...
Yeah, hanging out with Buddy Murphy, Rhea Ripley, and stuff like that. So he's still keeping a profile, but I haven't seen him in any matches recently. So I put him in Tier D, International Holiday Makers.
Of course, next is Zarya. She made her debut on October 22nd, 2024. And of course, she's the Australian wrestler Delta, making an impact over there in NXT. Hoping she gets the call up soon.
Oh, Mark Davis. So Mark Davis is actually on Tier B as one of the recognised international players of the world, of course, in Aussie Open, currently aligned with Will Ospreay, I think, in the union.
Yeah, okay. I'm not right up to date with AEW, but I know there's been a lot of talk about him. He was in a tag team for a minute, and his tag partner got injured, so they've been giving him more of a singles push. But number 7's a pretty solid spot for Mark Davis. He's on the rise. It sort of was relegated for a little while Kyle Fletcher took off, but he's coming around. Yeah, got that Samoa Joe style thick boy beating the shit out of people kind of style. So
nice. Well, number 19 on the C tier, Duke Hudson. Currently between contracts, currently between burgers at WrestleMania, if you're watching the footage.
He's recently done a little bit in Australia, but he's back in the States. Obviously just figuring out what's next.
Well, I tell you what.
Really looking forward to more of those promos that he did with himself, like those in the build-up after he got released. I hope we see more of those because they was really entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sweet Life of Elliot Sexton was pretty good as well back in the day.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 3, now we've actually got Mark Davis's old tag team partner, Kyle Fletcher, who's having quite a run on AEW until he recently got injured, unfortunately. But I don't think that will slow him down. Well, of course, injury will slow anyone down.
Yeah, I was going to say, for a minute.
No.
Yeah.
Not his momentum, hey, future world champion, already wrestles like one. recently injured, but I don't think that'll affect his popularity. I think if he comes back as a face, it should help him with that big return pop.
You know what's crazy though? You'll notice historically, the guys who were quite popular, when they get injured, they change their wrestling style slightly. Not a huge degree, but just enough so that it's safer for them. But also, they kick up a notch in their, what would you call it, like their star power or whatever. Because
okay,
yeah, they take that step back from the injury and then they come back and they wrestle a little smarter and leave a little bit. When I say leave a bit more on the table, like they tend to not give everything away, which is classic AEW. So hopefully, upon his return, he works that smart style. And most of the time, it's just because they're so injured that they can't wrestle like they used to. I hope that's not the case for Kyle Fletcher, but it'll be interesting to see where he takes himself after the injury. So that'll be really cool.
Well, coming in at number 14 on the C tier, we've got Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, better known as the
Iconics? Inspiration.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Inspiration.
at the moment, but
Yeah.
formerly known as the Iconics. Took a bit of a time off and got back on the Indies, and then found themselves in AEW. So yeah, good to see the ladies working out there in the wide world. Yeah, 22 on the D tier of international holiday makers. These are the dudes that come backwards and forwards between Australia and USA, Japan, England, what have you. And we've got 22 is Tone Philippe, currently on the USA Body Biz Tour.
He's one of the coaches, so
He is one of the coaches, yeah. So, yeah, maybe you're in communication with Mr. Tone Philippe while doing the Body Biz. Number 10, coming in on the B tier as recognised players on the international stage, we've got Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols from TMDK. Of course, the international respect level, very high, strong careers. Just not at the peak spotlight. Of course, Shane held back a little by the pandemic and the signing war between WWE and AEW that took place during then, WWE not wanting to let him go, while AEW was signing all their guys for the first sort of as they were getting started.
Yep. Shane Hayes based out of California at the moment, and Mikey's still based out of good old Perth, but both transferring between Japan and the US for different events.
Well, number 5, Tier A, main event adjacent talent. Number 5, we're taking a look here at Bronson Reed. Now, Bronson Reed was recently injured as well. After his return, he had quite a good run, being a division.
Yeah.
With the he was also with the the family, the tribal chief, solo and that for a while. Then he got injured. Then he was with the Vision, and then he got injured again.
Yeah.
Services, yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully they don't let him go again while he's injured, because that would be a bit of a shit thing to do. I wonder if the fans will put up a Save Bronson like they have been doing for Kari Sane at the moment. Hey, if that was the case.
Yeah, no, I think he's safe. They keep getting behind him. It's twice now he's been injured, and he's come back and they've gone and pushed quite hard. So
quite
last
a bit
time,
of merch as well.
Yeah,
quite a bit of merch out as well now. Hey, so yeah. Number 18, of course, close personal friend of Bronson Reed is 18, Hartley Jackson. Now, Mr. Hartley Jackson, of course, is on this list as an international indie core.
Yeah.
And probably started it, to be honest. For back in the day, it was one of the first guys to go to Japan that I knew of.
Yeah.
And sort of get his hold in the company, which led on to better things, training at NXT and stuff like that. And now he's back in 0-1 and some in New Japan Pro Wrestling. What do you guys think of Hartley Jackson?
Yeah, he's just made a career of wrestling, and not specifically the top of the top, but has just been like, this is what I want to do, and has made his way to make his living out of wrestling. Now currently resides full time in Japan, and yeah, living his best life and still doing things. Like, he's not over the hill, but he's definitely aged. But he's still kicking ass, man. Like, you can't do nothing but respect that.
When you say, like, he was training guys at NXT for the longest time, and now he's having a second wind, as it were, back in Japan. He's just always stayed consistent, and that's just what we love about him.
I would love a second wind in Japan, I'll tell you what. Hey. Coming in at number 12 on the TSC International Indie Court is number 12, Steph DeLander. Of course, Steph DeLander has been, they said she can't wrestle, then they said she could wrestle, then they said she can't wrestle. So now she's back at indie events. And while Matt Cardona's around, she's going to police the indie events because there's not enough water backstage at indie events. Steph DeLander has recently been saying. So, and so if she's going to be the indie goddess or indie queen, let's just go with that. She'll be policing your indie event, and rightly so. Fuck, have water backstage. Like, God.
Hydration is important.
Hydration is important. So is just have some food back there as well.
It's just customary to provide things for the comfort of the people who are just about to go and put their bodies on the line. So I fully agree.
Number 8 in the B tier, Robbie Eagles as recognised players. What do you guys think about Robbie Eagles? What can you say about Robbie Eagles that hasn't been said before?
You go, Michael. I'll take my turn after you. I keep jumping.
Like, no one's crafted their spot in the independent scene quite like Robbie. The way he's able to maintain his presence here in Australia, but also in Japan, do little things in America, like just that constant rotation. He's made wrestling his livelihoods, which is a rare thing that not many Australian wrestlers can say, because they're still, if you make even the big names here, they're still having to do little side hustles to keep the dream alive. But again, he's one of those underrated guys, I think, internationally. But again, we just mentioned just a new IWGP Junior Tag Team Champion again.
Yeah. So one thing you can always tell is guys' popularity is when you look at the merch desk. I've only had the opportunity to be at 2 merch desks at the same time as Robbie Eagles. And yeah, you ain't selling shit if Robbie Eagles is at the merch desk, because everyone's gone to Robbie Eagles, and that guy is just taking shirts, exchanging shirts for he's got a license to print money. You know what I mean? He's obviously very good. I'm not saying he's not a good wrestler. He's obviously very good at what he does, but you want to judge who's the more popular, just watch the sales at the merch desk. I'm telling you. And that guy just sells out. Simple as that.
Well, so I'm going to introduce this guy, number 24 on the Tier D International Holiday Makers. Some might say he reminds me of a young Robbie Eagles, just elongated, and that's Jimmy Zero.
Yeah, we had a great chat with Jimmy Zero when he was in the UK recently. And yeah, still young, still got a long way to go, but is already making major strides. So yeah, he deserves to be on that list.
Yeah, I totally hear. He's going back and forth all the time, working hard, getting what he can out of life, and you love to see it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, coming in at TSC International Indie Core, and I think maybe this one could be debated a bit. Number 16, Adam Brooks, and it's probably only because he spent so much time in Australia the last year or so.
No fault of his own, but yeah.
Yeah. And so Adam Brooks, of course, will be on TNA next week for the representing Australia in the international belt. And so everyone should check that out. So that'll be quite good.
Yeah.
But let's check out a global needle mover, Tier S. At number 2, we've got Tony Storm coming in at the Tier S global needle movers. Of course, Tony Storm, one of the best wrestlers in character right now, with the timeless Tony Storm gimmick. But of course, she got injured recently as well, didn't she?
I'm noticing a trend here. There's all of our top guys are either still on the shelf or just come off the shelf. It's just we're having a bad go. Clearly.
Yeah, having a bad go. So at least they can't get fired. There's no Australians in the recent rounds of firing, so that's good. But
Yeah.
Tony Storm on the injured list, but one of the best character runs in modern professional wrestling, you'd have to say, was the timeless Tony Storm gimmick. Quite popular with the fans.
Yep.
Got a bit long in the tooth at the end there. But I think they revived it now and then. There was always something interesting going on with the character, and it's just good to see Tony Storm get off Queensland, on the world stage.
Yep. That's it. Anytime someone's doing that well, we've got to celebrate them.
Going to Tier D, International Holiday Makers, I've got Slex on the USA tour with Tone Philippe on the Body Biz tour.
Yep.
So that was pretty much explained before. But let's go back up to Tier B. Recognised players. Grayson Waller at number 6 on the B tier. Tier B, Grayson Waller.
Yeah, no, amazing. It was great to see him live at Crown Jewel facing, not Penta, Ray Phoenix.
Yeah,
It was great fun. Great to see him. Always had great interactions with him. Another Survivor alumni is Grayson Waller, so maybe we'll be seeing Scotty Green on this list before you know it.
Well, one can only hope not. Coming in at lucky number 13, Michael, Lena Cross has just signed with AEW, but has been a international indie core for a long while now. Michael, tell us about Lena Cross.
I don't know what more can be said, truthfully. Like, it just, not even in a month, she's already one half of the women's tag team champions, and she's just proving why she deserved to be in that spot, it seemed natural just from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've all known it for the longest time, and now just the rest of the world is catching up, and it's wonderful to see.
100%. And I think it's almost beneficial for them to run her in the tag for a minute, because I think she'll just dominate the singles division once they've had a decent tag run, give her a bit of time to get a bit more recognition, more of a name, and then go nuts.
Yeah, and speaking of going nuts, let's go back down to Tier D, International Holiday Makers. I'd say 23, Tali has just gone over to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So she's gone on a Japan tour, and back and forth now and then on some tours. So it's just, as we're talking about current people on tours, that's who cropped up.
Yep.
But back
Wonderful
to the
person, yes.
Yeah, wonderful person. But back to the recognised players, someone who's on TV. Number 9, Harley Cameron. Now, she had a bit of a sneaky rise and a bit of a character rise just before the Australian tour with the puppet and versing Mercedes and stuff like that. It does quite a few good comedy skits. What do you guys think of Harley Cameron's rise on AEW? Do you think she'll ever get the WWE call-up?
I don't know about the WWE call. It feels like that Tony has realized what they have with her. Like, obviously, she's no longer the tag team champion. That's now Lena, and she's moving into the singles division. So I can honestly see the TBS title or in her future, or the women's title, like, just to get the machine behind her a little bit more. Like, they know what they have. They're just gonna fine tune it just a little bit.
Yeah, no, I've only seen bits and pieces, but every time it seems to have been fun.
Yeah, no, always a good laugh with Harley Cameron. Now, on the TSC, International Indie Corps, coming in at number 17, we have Chris Weiss living in Japan. Now, Don, you're in contact with Chris Weiss. What can you tell us about Weissy?
Vicey is one of those guys, like I said, about Hartley Jackson. He's just like, this is what I want to do. I want to be a professional wrestler. Like, that's how I want to make my money. It's how I want to live my life. And he's gone and done it, and working for 0-1. And he's the only person I know on a personal level that's been in 2 Lethway fights, which is bare knuckle kickboxing, and won both of them. Like, I don't know anyone who's fought that way, but he's also won both those fights. So he's just a tough dude all around, and it's really cool to see someone I started off in wrestling with, who's made his life his career is professional wrestling, and it's really great to see.
He's such a quiet achiever. He's so humble about it, but the strides that he's made, like it's blink if you'll miss it, but he is leaving his mark. You just gotta, like, in Japan, like, they have really understood what they have with him. He's a great ambassador for them, for both there and Australia.
Coming in at number 4 on the Tier A main event adjacent, number 4, Buddy Matthews. We go call him Buddy Matthews, Buddy Murphy. What other names has he gone by? Was injured, but now living in the gym and see.
He's own making, yeah.
Yeah, Matt Silver living in the gym. So to be honest, looks like he's enjoying life.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you be?
But he's the kind of guy who would want to, like, just from watching the things he says and does, he would be itching to get back in the ring and get back into action. And it's just, he was injured, I think, when they came to Brisbane last time, and still wrestled the match. And problem with, like, ankle and foot injuries, if you're the kind of person who likes to work through these sort of things, it can create more complications, which can delay recovery, or maybe it's a bit worse than they originally said. Who knows? But hopefully we see him up and about before too long.
I'll tell you what, going by his social media, it looks like we won't have to wait too long to see him back in the ring. From what he's leaving a few cryptic posts out these days, and it looks like we won't have to wait too long to see Buddy Matthews, Matt Silver, back in the ring. So that should be pretty cool. Coming in at TSC, International Indie Corps, number 20, I've got Jimmy Townsend, of course, who's going on quite the tour around the US recently. I think departed earlier in the year after losing the IWA belt, or late last year after using the IWA belt. Appeared in Beast Mortis's team, of course, as we mentioned before.
So he's a beast. He's on Team Beast. That tells you he's a beast. Like, you can't argue that.
That's right, getting around in the beastly manner. TSC in the International Indie Corps. It's Indy Hardwell.
Hey.
Very cool. We're interesting to see. She's obviously still getting around the indie scene, doing all kinds of stuff. She was doing a bit of belt collecting for a minute there, wasn't she? Or still is?
Yep. Doing a bit of belt collecting and sort of in TNA, and putting on a good show in TNA, and still coming around doing the Renegade shows and stuff like that. That's the doorbell.
It's me running low on storage space.
Yeah. But I'm not the biggest fan of Renegades, but there you go. So coming in at number 15, we have Kingsley, and she's been overseas for just under a year now, making quite a splash over in the US and Canada, and of course catching up with Shay Cassidy, who is on our wildcard rotation as one of the people that are overseas at the moment, but is probably going to come back. But of course, coming in at number 1, we have Rhea Ripley, the face of women's wrestling, modern women's wrestling. Is there any argument with that?
That is probably the most obvious number 1 in the history of lists.
Yeah, well, there you go. That has been the top 25 Australian wrestlers in the world. Nothing bad to say about Rhea Ripley, because, of course, what bad could you say about Rhea Ripley? She's all over the place at the moment. Mm-hmm. Great role model for the kids. Great model for you out there. Get your shit together and start making some cash like Rhea Ripley is. That's for damn sure.
And then quick shout outs for the wildcard rotation. I think we had a little list there of people who were in and out of the country doing all kinds of different stuff. Ricky South recently did a trip to the States, was involved in Power Slap. Again, first person I've ever met that's been involved in Power Slaps. That's cool as shit. Carlo Cannon is in and out of Southeast Asia on the regular. Shazza McKenzie is in and out of the country as well. Ilya, former, what's the name? I can't remember the name of their team. The Paraya. I was going to say the Greek boys, but I suppose that sort of means the family.
That's someone else.
The Paraya. He did a run over in the States for a little while. He's come back and he's just sort of figuring out his next steps, but I'm sure we'll see him much more overseas. Little Mars, again, getting around the world, doing all kinds of things, and Shay Cassidy as well. So those are the people who have been, doing all kinds of good stuff all over the world.
Shout out to Slater and Marcus Pitt and Fantasia and
Rogan
Cargus. So everyone's getting out and about. And if we've left you off the list, or you feel unjustly done by, like Rhea Ripley, maybe you should reach out and get in and leave a comment and say, "Hey, I'm overseas, you fucks." But yeah, maybe don't say that to Michael. He'll ban you from his group. Hey, do that on our page. But please be respectful on Michael's page. Hey, please be respectful on Michael's page. Anyway, speaking of Michael's page, stinky fans have been a hot topic on and off the last few weeks. Michael, have you had to deal with some stinky fans recently, or just stinky people leaving stinky comments?
No sticky comments, thankfully. Funnily enough, you say that. So I actually don't have a sense of smell. I've never been born with one. But whenever someone does have a particularly pungent odor, like if I get headaches in a room or it's very stuffy, I kind of know that's my gauge. So it's not a sense as you call it, but so I don't have
My headache senses are tingling. You need a shower.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if Michael's senses are tingling, fuck me, do you need
if I'm getting a migraine, then it's a problem.
It must be intense. It must be intense.
If you're causing Michael migraines, fuck me, you need to be out of the building, hey.
Yeah.
Well, Don, take us through the wrap. Michael, thank you for always providing the wrap on a regular basis. You know, you always got the... For both rooms, you're always getting the information out and keeping the information current and keeping everyone well informed and getting them out to their local shows. So a big thank you for that, for all the work you've always been doing.
No, all in a day's work. I love the work that you guys do. It's important that we're all just boosting the signal and keeping the positivity out there. And that's just, it takes a village, but we all got to play our part, I suppose.
That's it. We're all different flavors, different strokes through the world. But Don, get us out of here with the wrap.
This is, thanks everyone for listening. This is the wrap around the country. If you are in any of these states, this is where you can go and watch some local indie pro wrestling in Australia. So if you're in New South Wales, Newcastle Pro Wrestling have Shattered. It's an 18+ show. It's at Hamilton Hotel in Islington, Saturday, May 2nd. Lucha Fantastica is back on a tour of the country with the anniversary in Marrickville Town Hall in Sydney on Saturday, May 2nd. If you're in Queensland, Nightfall Wrestling Alliance presents Oblivion at the Moray Community Hall in Morayfield, Sunday, May 3rd. South Australia, Adelaide Championship Wrestling's Can't Be Touched is at the Russian Community Centre in Norwood, Saturday, May 2nd. Pro Wrestling South Australia presents Gold Rush at the Greenwith Community Centre in Greenwith, Saturday, May 2nd. If you're in Tasmania, Tasmanian Championship Wrestling Aftershock is at the Elfin Sports Centre in Launceston, Saturday, May 2nd. Victoria, Malice Wrestling Federation presents Last Rites at the Legacy Wrestling Academy in Pakenham, Saturday, May 2nd. And PCW Wrestling presents Slam featuring Evolution and Royal Rumble at the South Eastern Entertainment Centre in Fern Tree Gully, Friday, 1st of May and Saturday, May 2nd. I will forever almost automatically call it Fern Gully. And I haven't done it yet, but my brain goes straight to Fern Gully. If you haven't seen Fern Gully, I don't care who you are, you need to watch that movie. It's a great movie.
Tim Curry, Robin Williams, good stuff.
Oh, quality. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Big thanks to Michael for coming along and adding a little sprinkle of flavor. Thanks for tuning in. If you can like and subscribe to the show so that you can catch up with our stuff.
20 off 200. Make Don's birthday wish come true, and get us over 200.
Jesus, yes.
No, 200 subscribers.
200 subscribers. Oh shit. Okay. Get us to 200 subscribers. Spread the love, spread the joy. Please make sure you get to some local wrestling. Your ticket money that you spend helps them build up their show and make it better. They can get cooler stuff or better wrestlers or pay their boys more or make some better merch. Either way, you guys put that money in, it helps the show grow bigger. If you like a particular wrestler, make sure you hit the merch desk, buy some of their merch. It helps build their wrestling dream. It gets them to other places. It might even just get a Macca's on the way home, and hey, after a good wrestling match, you need to refuel the carbs and the protein. So thanks everyone for tuning in. That was Australian Indie Wrestling Podcast. I'll see you next time.